Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm putting my stuff away there. I was actually working on my next workshop already. That's going to be, I'll be presenting it in January, but I sort of had this profound moment in the last couple of days where, because I was like, what is my next, it's not that I'm excited to get this over with, but I thought this workshop is so amazing. What more can I offer? Like after the self-alignment workshop that I'm offering, the last one is on Monday, tomorrow evening. So if you haven't signed up for it, this is the last time I'll be offering this particular workshop this year. I might do it again next year, but, and it's not that I want to get this over with, but I wasn't sure what else I could offer. And the last couple of days, it was like, there were just some really profound moments that I had about expectations that we have on ourselves. And a lot of it actually came out of a situation with one of my boys, with my oldest son, and his father. And my oldest son has graduated from high school. He's in college now, but he's living at home so he can work part-time and go to college and all that, right? And as parents, I know that we have a certain aspect of pride when it comes to our children. Because we want them to be the best, and we want them to really succeed, and we want them to live a successful life, right? But what does that mean? And are we expecting too much out of our children because we've always expected so much out of ourselves? And if we feel like we haven't reached that level of expectation for ourselves, how are we putting that off on our children and the generations? I mean, there are so, and it's so funny because like I'm a part of this astrology Twitter world where 95% of the people that I interact with during the day are at least 10 years younger than I am, at the very least. Some of them are in their early 20s, some of them are in their late 20s, some of them are in their early 30s. But very rarely do I come across somebody who is part of my generation, which is Generation X, like the very end of Generation X. So 40 years, between 38 and 45, we'll say that, right? So, and I see all of this coming out and how we have placed expectations on generation after generation after generation to be a particular person, to look like a particular person, to engage with other people in a particular way, where we have isolated ourselves in a very social atmosphere. It's like, we base what our day is going to look like off of the posts of everybody else that came that woke up before us or posted really late last night. We wake up and I challenged everybody at one point last week to not engage your phone first thing in the morning. Like, and I know that we have most of us have our alarms on our phones. If you're not old school and you don't have like a separate alarm, you use your phone, and that's fantastic. That's great. But after turning the phone off, what are you doing with yourself? Are you directly going to social media? Are you directly looking at, and I don't care what kind of social media it is, whether it's work-based, whether it's, because, some people are part of LinkedIn, or whether it's societal-based, whether it's, Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, right? I don't care. If you are opening that up and you're engaging with people right away in a sense of how is this defining me, your whole day is going to be, how is this defining me based on other people's thought processes, right? So the expectations that we hold on ourselves are not our own expectations. They're of another world. They're of all the people out there that say whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing by the way you look, by the way you speak, by the job you have, by the car you drive, by this, by that, right? And instead of allowing ourselves to hold ourselves to an expectation that is of other people, you have to find out how to hold yourself responsible for your own expectations, but not isolating yourself at the same time. And that's really something that was big for me to learn. So the whole next chapter, if you will, of this self-alignment workshop that I'm doing is going to be a lot on finding your own purpose, not based on the expectations of the world, but based on yourself and where, like you find out what's blocking yourself, right? In this workshop that I'm doing tomorrow night, we look at all the ways that we block ourselves from just being happy, from just feeling joy. Because when you are joyful every day, not because of what's going on in your environment, but because you are safe within knowing who you are, when you are joyful every single day, you can manifest anything in your life. Because you realize that what you're manifesting or what's coming into your life is for your highest good. Not for what you want, but what's for your highest good. There's a difference between what you want and what's for your highest good. Big difference. Because sometimes we think that we want something and that's actually not good for us. But when we look at what's for our highest good, and it's very interesting. So I was looking at what the cosmos were doing today, and it sort of all goes into exactly what I just spoke about in the first 6 minutes of this video, where Venus is sextile Saturn right now. So and it's like exact today. And Venus sextile Saturn. Sextile is I keep doing this, it's not a trine, it's a sextile. A sextile is an easy relationship. They work well together. The two planets work well together. But there's an emphasis on where am I financially stable? There's an emphasis on where am I romantically stable? Where am I stable in my life when it comes to relationships and finances? And if I'm not stable or I don't feel whole with my relationship and finances, this day could be really, really heavy for you. And this is where those expectations of who you are and how you value yourself has to come from within, because Venus and Saturn are very external sometimes, right? They're very external energies. And when you look at the Venus-Saturn sextile, you can actually get into a really great long-term relationship right now, because it's based on not just emotions, but it's also based on logic when it comes to Saturn, right? And Saturn is all about length. It's all about, the karmic activity, the long-term activity. And karma can be good and bad. So don't mistake it when I say the karmic activity. It doesn't have to be a bad karmic relationship. It could be a good karmic relationship that you're in. But if you're in a relationship right now, currently, and it's not going so well, you could be really questioning it. If you're in a situation where your finances are not where you would like to see them, you could really be questioning yourself and your whole purpose and why am I even doing this and all of those things, right? Today could be a really big day of putting really strong expectations on yourself based on outside influences. So one of the biggest things that I want to say to you guys is to be kind, be very, very kind to your soul right now, and allow yourself to make mistakes, because within the mistakes or within the perceived things going wrong, when it's perceived as wrong, because not everything is always wrong. We just look at rejection as a part of things being wrong, but rejection should be something that's actually more of a protective quality. If it didn't work out for you, it wasn't meant for you. Let rejection be protection. But right now, it would be very hard for me to convince somebody who constantly is feeling like they're being rejected by the universe and nothing is coming in for them. See, the thing is all of the stuff that doesn't work out, if you allow yourself to take blame, or if you allow yourself to constantly take responsibility for things never working out in your life, or you're telling the universe, why, when you're always blaming yourself or the universe or somebody else, right? There's no such thing as needing to blame anybody. There's no reason, there's nothing wrong with what happened. What happened in your life was to protect you from going down the wrong way on your journey, right? So let's see, let's do a card pull. I didn't realize that I was going to discuss things for 10 minutes, but I had this really big, profound epiphany moment this morning when I was kind of getting ready, and I was trying to decide, do I want to go to the gym now? Do I want to go to the gym later? And I sat down. I was like, you know what? I can't make a decision right now to save my life. So I need to sit down. I need to sit down. I need to get quiet. And during that quiet time, we'll call it meditation. It wasn't, I wasn't meaning for it to be meditation, but that's sort of what it turned into. And during that meditation, there were a lot of very enlightening thoughts that I just started writing down really fast. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely what everybody needs to hear right now. I feel like there's a need to come together with people. And if you feel like you're like alone in life and you're just flitting through this life alone, the Reiki, or the meditations that we do once a week on Sunday evenings, or whenever there's a full or new moon, we'll do them then. The next one is tonight, Sunday night. It feels so good to commune with other people and to come into a space, even though it's over the internet. It's still a space of like-minded individuals. And I feel like we're all sort of being called into that direction to come back together and not be so individualized, right? Because we all feel like when we're in the spiritual journey, we feel like we're so alone at times. And we have to grow that independence within ourselves so that we're no longer codependent on everybody. But where do we draw that line, right? And I'm saying that because the Three of Cups was the first card that came out. And so we have to ask ourselves, where are we drawing the line between individuality and coming together with other people? And maybe even humbling yourselves to come back together. I am a loner. Like, I will admit it. I have often found that the people that come into and I'm saying that because the Queen of Wands can sometimes be a very independent, I can do this on my own individual. And so that's the energy that I'm getting from everybody's like, I'm an introvert. Being an introvert doesn't mean that you pull yourself away so much that you no longer have community, that you no longer exist within a world of like-minded individuals. And if you have a hard time looking for like-minded individuals, you can find them all over the comments in my videos. There are so many like-minded individuals. That's what I love about this fearless family, is that we all just kind of come together and we wrap ourselves in a hug, right? I know that sounds really corny and cheesy, but I do feel with the Three of Cups and the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands that today is one of those days where we have to sort of humble ourselves to the nature of existing in this culture, in this world, in this life. So if you don't feel like you can be part of a group, come visit my Instagram. Come follow me on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook a lot. I like all the posts that I do on Instagram, they go directly to Facebook. So, but you can come there too. There are like-minded individuals there too. The thing is you're not alone. And I know that we have to find this independence so that we're not codependent on other people. But we cannot do that at the expense of not, no longer communing. We have to be in a community. I do feel like there's a cycle that's ending right now, and part of it could very well be, it's very interesting because I feel like some of you are recognizing that some of the people that are around you, like that you can no longer be on this journey with those people. There's a change that's happening, right, with the world and the death card. And I think that there is a lot of strong transformations that are coming out of this. Independence that you have. Let's see, what's the Three of Cups for today? I feel like some of you might even be, ending relationships. I was going to say Three of Swords on the Three of Cups. I feel like some of you are realizing that there has to be the end of a relationship because there were too many people involved. And where you were allowing yourself to see things maybe from a different perspective, like maybe it will right itself and I don't have to do anything. Now you're realizing that you can't just keep going the way that things are headed, because that would be lying to yourself, and you no longer want to lie to yourself. You want to be 100% honest about the direction of things are going. So that's for it feels like there's this heartbreak when it comes to relationships, whether that is a romantic relationship or like a friendship that you've been in for years. Something is coming to an end. And I feel like a lot of it is because you have realized your worth, or you've realized how much you gave to the situation, and there wasn't a lot given back to you. So we have the King of Pentacles on the Page of Pentacles. And so, there's an earth sign or somebody who, see, the King of Pentacles is an entrepreneur. But I think that that's where his focus is. His focus is more on what it is, how he's growing within himself, and not so much what he can give to you. You know what I mean? Like, if you're the King of Pentacles and not the Queen of Wands, right? If you're the Queen of Wands, then I feel like the Queen of Wands is figuring out that this King of Pentacles does not have enough to give to her. This King of Pentacles, or this King of Pentacles, isn't willing to give any more than what he's giving currently. There's this let's see who the Queen of Wands is, or what the Queen of, and the Queen of Wands is confused. I don't understand. I don't understand why he can't give, why do I have to be brokenhearted? Why does this have to happen? And so for some of you, this is a lesson in realizing that you have to stand on your own. The Seven of Cups on the Queen of Wands, even if it looks scary because it is confusing, even if it looks scary, there's an answer within those Seven Cups. And even if you don't have that answer, right in front of you and it's clear as day, it's still in there. But you have to really look deep within yourself on what that answer is going to be. Because I feel like what she's doing, what the Queen of Wands is doing right now, is trying to, and we're just going to say this would be the feminine, right? The feminine energy. It doesn't even have to be a man or a woman. It doesn't have to be a woman. It could be a man that holds the feminine energy. The King of Pentacles could be a woman that holds the masculine energy. But the feminine energy here, as she wants to be on her own, but I don't think that she understands how necessarily she's going to accomplish that. But she realizes that the King of Pentacles, the masculine energy doesn't have enough to give to her, or is all out of the giving, right? It feels like the King of Pentacles is not willing to give anymore with that Page of Pentacles there. And I'm not sure that the Queen of Wands is realizing, but something does have to change. Something does have to end. And that's where this World comes in, right? Yeah, something does have to change. Something does have to end. I'll just repeat my own words as the Wheel of Fortune pops out and the cards work with me. And that's the thing, is when you shift your perspective and you realize that there are just some things that aren't going to happen. This is where the expectation is, right? When you continue to hold certain expectations in your life, that's where, and maybe this person said something to make you have an expectation. Maybe they said we're going to be together forever. Maybe they said we're going to do this. Maybe, and so by proxy, by them, you are holding an expectation because of what somebody said to you. And that's not fair. But herein lies your lesson. Are you going to allow yourself to hold yourself hostage because of the expectations of another person, or the perceived expectations of another person? Or are you going to allow yourself to be free and say, well, I guess that was a lesson for me to learn, to trust myself, to trust my instincts, to trust where I'm going, and not necessarily trust the words of somebody that has proven to me that I can't trust them, So I didn't realize that this was going to be such a deep relationship reading when I came on for expectations, right? The change and transformation that you are holding on to, Six of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. You have to understand that you transitioning through all of this is actually going to bring you ultimate happiness and abundance. But if you don't let this cycle end, if you don't let this pain and hurt and the expectations of another person that you know that you can't trust now, if you don't let that fall by the wayside, it's going to be a very difficult transformation process. What you can do is allow yourself to see that this kind of rejection, or this kind of abandonment, or this kind of having to fall away is making you stronger, because you're realizing that you don't have to depend on somebody else to be happy in your life. It's nice to have other people around. It's like an added bonus when you get to have people around that are really there for you and really stand by your side, and say your journey is just as important as mine. And because so often in life, we put our journeys on the back burner so that other people can prosper in theirs, which is wonderful, and that's fantastic. And if you want to be that person that is that support, but if you're putting your journey and your life on hold, and it comes to the point to where that person isn't helping you to prosper on your journey, it has to be a give and take. It's not always going to be 50-50. It's not always going to be 100-100, right? in a relationship. Some days, some people are going to have really bad days, and so the other person has to pick up the slack. But if you're always picking up somebody's bad day slack and it's tearing you apart and you're having to halt your own progress and journey, you're not going to be happy. So, allow yourself to release the things that are no longer serving you. And that includes people that can no longer, or haven't been for a while, if they can't give you what you need anymore, if they're not satisfying. And what I mean need, I mean, you know, your need for love and friendship and being there for each other, not so that you can just, you know, have a crutch, because that's not the point of friendship or relationships, is so that you can have a crutch. But I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Join me for the meditation tonight. Join me for the workshop tomorrow. I won't be giving this workshop again this year. It is inexpensive. It is not going to break the bank for you. I did that on purpose because I want as many people as possible to be able to benefit from the wisdom that was channeled to me, through me, onto a piece of paper, and then I lived it. And the more that I lived it, the more I wanted to share it with you guys. So it's all about just living your best life, and living your best life regardless of your circumstances. Because sometimes people think that living their best life means that they have everything that they've ever desired in the world and then they can be happy. And that's not it. This is going to help teach you how to live your best life before you get everything that you desire. Because then when you're living your best life already, everything else is an added bonus. All right, guys, I love you. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.